Okay, so in this series of two videos, I'm going to show you how to add or how to work with gradients and also how to work with textures. Okay, so we're going to start with the gradients. Okay, so basically it's the same thing. Well, it's going to be the same thing as painting, guys. So remember, what I like to do is I like to keep my two layers, my two original layers, right? And then make copies of them to create the paint layer. Later on, we can go ahead and the paintings, we can go ahead and ungroup them, so to say, and we can go ahead and start working with each paint individually, but that's gonna come later. Okay, so again, first thing, I'm gonna select these two layers, right? So we can click on the first one and then press the key shift, hold it, and then select the second one. Now I'm gonna go ahead and with these two selected, I'm gonna go ahead and press the key alt, hold it, and then left click on these layers and then drag them down. That's gonna create copies. Okay, so that's what we want. So just one thing, guys, just to make sure, or just to in this particular project, or in this particular work, we want so this white space represents the sky, right? So we want to be able to paint the sky as well. So that's why it's very important to keep this guy right here, right? The 14, the 8.5 by 14 exported from Rhino, right? We need that. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and lock these two, unlock this, and then I'm gonna select everything, and that should select everything under these two layers. As you guys can see, you guys see these two color squares right next to it. That means that we have some stuff selected. Okay, now I'm gonna go ahead and group it. So just Ctrl G and group it, and now you will notice all the line work is now only on my selected layer, which in this case is line work copy. So what I can do is we can just click anywhere to unselect this, and I can go ahead and delete this guy right here, this one. I don't need it anymore, and then we just delete it, right? That way we just have this guy right here. So now I'm gonna rename it. This is gonna be my, well, in this case I'm gonna name it gradient paint. I'm sorry, gradient paint. Then I'm gonna select everything by clicking on this little guy right here, this little circle, and then objects, go down here, and then live paint, and then make. Okay, remember we can create a color palette, right? So if we click on this little square, then we just start creating squares, right? So I'm gonna select that. In this case, I just have the outline. I don't want the outline, so I want the fill, not the outline. So I'm gonna click on this arrow to swap them. So now I have my fill, and that's what I want. So now I'm gonna go ahead and make copies by clicking on the square, press Alt, hold it, the key Alt, hold it, and then just move it down. That's gonna create copies for you. In this case, I'm just gonna do like 4. I don't think I need any more. So remember, in this project, what we want to achieve, guys, is we want to imply deepness into the illustration. We want to make it look like 3D, right? So this is a very oversimplified version of your projects. So this is my building right here, and then this guy right here, it's going to be my my tree, right? So that's why, okay, that's why, so as you guys can see right now, it's purple or magenta, right? So that's why I want to keep these two. That way, whenever I finish painting and everything, I can go back and I can modify and edit these lines. Okay, so as I said, we want to imply three-dimensionality into this into these illustrations. So let's say that my son, I have my son right here, right? And let's make it yellow. So let's say that I have my sun right here, and then is hitting my building this way. That means that this part is on the shadows, right? So this part of the building should be lighter and this one should be darker, right? So we're gonna start there. Super simple. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead and select this guy right here, and then now, well, let's go ahead and, yeah, I'm gonna start with this one. Double click on it to select it, and then I'm gonna make it lighter, so even something like that, right? And this one, again, this one I want to make it a little bit lighter. So right now, if you guys notice, I only have a certain number of colors. That's because this is checked. If you uncheck this, that's gonna give you a wider range of colors that you guys can use, right? So in this case, I'm just gonna do this, and now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna select this, and these are gonna become my dark values. So I'm gonna go down somewhere, like some right there, I think, and then maybe this one you can make it even darker, something like that, right? And now we can start working. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and paint and press I for my eyedropper tool. Then I want to start working with this color right here, and then K. If you notice, the tree, guys, is gonna, I mean, it's right in front of this and it's intersecting the building. Don't worry about that, because later we can work with different, actually, before I do the paint, I'm gonna go ahead and create another paint layer. So select it, Alt, hold it, and then drag it down. And this, instead of gradient, I'm just gonna name it building. And then the copy that I just created, I'm gonna name it 3 or bushes or whatever greenery you guys are working with. Okay, so let's work in different layers. That way it's gonna be easier to edit them. Okay, and we can look good. So I'm gonna lock this, because if you guys notice, when I created this copy, it also created the color palette that we were working on, right? So I'm gonna lock the building paint, and then I'm gonna select this, and then just delete them. And they is still there. Why? Because we have them on the building paint, which is fine. Okay. So now let's keep working on this. So I'm gonna lock my trees. I don't wanna mess with them right now. I'm just gonna be working with my building paint. And then again, I for the eyedropper, and then select this, and then K to start painting. So I'm gonna paint my windows super light, right? And then and then the rest of my building, I'm gonna make it this way, right? So this is what I want. Now I'm gonna go to the shaded, or to the shadow, yeah, the shaded portion of the building. Then I select this, and then K, and this are gonna become my windows, and then K to select to select this color, I, and then K for the paint tool or the bucket tool, and then that's what you guys want, right? So this is what we want. I know we still have the purple lines and all that. We can change them right now. So what we can do is we can go ahead and unlock the line work and the 8.5 by 14, which is the rectangle, right? And then select both of them. So select these little circles by clicking on the first one, and then shift, hold it, and then select the second one. That's gonna select everything. And then now we want the outline to be that, and that's gonna change the color, right? So that's what we want. Now remember, we just created, or we created a we created a new paint layer for my bush, for my trees or bushes or whatever, right? So I'm gonna go ahead and unlock this one, and then now what I'm gonna do, guys, is I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna click right here on this little guy right here. It says gradient, right? So I can click right there, and then this is gonna pop up. Okay, so this is the gradient tool. So before before I start working on this, I'm gonna go ahead and and do a new color palette that I can use for my gradients. So if you guys notice, you guys have these two guys right here, which are gonna be your colors, the colors that you guys will be using for your gradients. So right now by default you guys have two, but if you guys wanna create more, you can just press and hold the key Alt and then click on this one of these circles and then just drag it, and that's gonna create a copy. Again, Alt, hold it, and then drag it, and that's gonna give you copies. In this case, I'm gonna keep it simple. I just want two. Okay, I just want two, but as I said, I'm gonna create a new color palette. Okay, so I'm gonna create a new color palette. In this case, I don't want any fill, any outline, so click on the stroke or outline and then click right here where it says none, right? And then now I want this guy right here. Then I'm gonna click right here where it says color, and then double click right here to select my color. Now I want magenta trees or greenery, right? So I'm just gonna create two. So I'm gonna go ahead and click on this little square, Alt, hold it, and then drag it down. And then now I'm gonna select this, double click on the fill, and then I'm gonna make it this, right? So these are the colors that I'm gonna that I'm gonna use to paint my my trees, right? So now I'm gonna go ahead and go back. So now we click right here on gradient, and then this is gonna pop up. We select the first one, and then you guys are gonna see the color picker tool. So I'm gonna click right here, and then I'm gonna select this pink, and then I'm gonna go ahead and select the second one again, click right here, and now that's gonna create your gradient, right? So you guys have different gradients. So you have the linear, the radial, and then freeform, which is, we're not gonna use that for now. We're just gonna we're gonna focus on this. So I'm just gonna focus on this, and then if I press K, that's gonna take me to the bucket tool, right? And now we have the gradient selected. So I click right there, it's painting, but what's happening? I can see it. Even though I painted this, it's not showing. Why? Because Illustrator works in layers and hierarchies. So the layer that's gonna be on the bottom, the layer on the very bottom, it's gonna be behind. Whatever it's on top, it's gonna be the closest to you. So that's why these buildings are covering my my trees, right? So if I just move them up like this, now they're gonna show. That's what you guys want. Okay, so now this is how gradients work. But let's say that, there's one okay, so I'm sorry, yeah, so we want this tree to be a little transparent. We can see a little bit more of the windows and the building, right? So I'm gonna click on this circle right here on my trees, and then go to properties, and then go to opacity and let's go down to 50. Right now we can see through it, right, which is pretty cool. Right, so I'm gonna leave it as is. And now remember, at the beginning of this video I said that I was gonna show you how to paint, and then once we paint them, I want to be able to just edit element by element, right, not the whole thing. So what we can do is we can go ahead and unlock this guy right here, the building. Then I'm gonna select everything, go to object, and then edit. We're gonna expand it, so we're gonna expand, okay, and go back to object and then ungroup all. So that's gonna ungroup everything. So now if I go ahead and select this guy right here, I can just go ahead and change the color, right, to something like gray, whatever you guys want. But what if now I want a gradient, right? So I can go ahead and select this guy right here, click on my gradient, right, and then same thing, selected. And now let's say that I want this, and at the end I want this super dark green, right? So that's how you guys can play with the gradients. Okay, so now in the next video I'm gonna show you how to give the trees some texture. Okay.